Hi, everyone. So today we are on our day 14 of 40 Days of Hope, and I'd like to wish you guys a happy Halloween. I'm going to show you some of the things that I have, and then I'm going to explain them to you after. So I have my hot chocolate, and I'm starting to, as well, I collect mugs. I'm also starting to collect these two. They're special. They're from the Enniskillen store in Bowmanville. And I have painted this recently for Halloween. It's our newest Halloween present. And I hope to do some more renovations on it after because I wanted to have a rainbow with stars. Maybe that will happen next year. I also am collecting pictures of octopuses. So I also have this. It does look very scary. Scary octopus. It's kind of been a thing for me recently. I have this. I use it I drink the brisk and then refill it with water. And I have Smarties because I am called to support pregnant women. I don't know when and who. We'll figure that out. Kit Kats because I'm called to support the Farm Animal Project this year. I'm not going to be having I'm not going to be having a dozen chickens this year. Not yet. We need the project center before we get a bigger bunch of chickens. And this is actually for next year as we get a Halloween special in our fundraising. This was also interesting too, and I'll explain about it later on. I don't know if I'll explain about it in this video. And if you see the pumpkins, my project can sponsor 6 women, even though it doesn't have the project center home yet. But we can sponsor 6 women. So if there's any women who want to register for the project, we are available. We're already sponsoring one woman who has a handful of kids, but there are many more women who can register for us to sponsor them. And go through my notes. As I said that I don't collect stuff for the purpose to be happy. I do not make myself happier after I collect stuff. Usually after I collect stuff, I ask myself, what am I supposed to do with it? So the collection of stuff is never for the purpose of happiness. The collection of stuff is for teaching purposes and sometimes fundraising purposes. As for, I find fundraising difficult, but I can still collect stuff for teaching purposes. Sometimes it takes a while to figure out what I'm going to teach people, but with prayer, I figure it out later on. I would like to talk about justice research because it's one of the key components to the Women's Project. And going to Amsterdam packages with the Women's Project. Like when I say project, I don't technically mean fake feminism. And I called my group Women with a Purpose because some people have slandered me and my group publicly. So I call it Women with a Purpose. And now that allowed myself to be protected. I would like to talk about ministry. My ministry is more successful in the podcasts, and I am very new to podcasting. This is my first session of podcasting. The second time gets better. Blogging, I've tried writing stuff, but when it's written, I don't know who is reading my written work. I would still post my blogs whenever necessary. I would like to support the Farm Animal Project, and we'll have to pray about the Farm Animal Project and see what I can afford. I would also like to talk about I'd like to talk about prayer time and presence. I should have talked about it in my last video, but I had another thing on my mind. That's why I talked about dealing with discouragement instead of prayer and presence. When it comes to coming in the presence of God, you can be in the presence of God when you have a hobby to collection, because God could use your collection to help you fundraise for something that is needed. Therefore, you can still be in God's presence when you collect things. And how you know if you're in God's presence? You know when you're in God's presence when your attitude aligns with God's ways. If you want to be obedient to God, then you know you'd be in His presence. But there's a few tips on how to help with being in God's presence. One is the Lord's Prayer. Starting with Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The Lord's Prayer was what Jesus used to direct us to Christ. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comments. And I hope to see you guys for another video. And if you guys are watching this video, thank you for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.
done, Rebecca?
We're having some complications.
Oh. So we have the volume on the TV. Will that be a problem, or
Nope.
it will not be a problem?
No, it's the live stream.